Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batman Earth 1, which I guess is like Batman with Doomsday juice. I don't know any of these things that Todd's making. I am not familiar with any of these storylines enough to talk about the characters. All I can do is review the figures for what they are. You can judge accuracy for yourself, other than comparing against the cards and images they provide on the package. I'll make some notes there. But this figure seems to be pretty darn good. There's a lot going on here, so there's some stuff to talk about for sure. Is it really good? Is it just kind of good? I don't know. We're going to find out as we go. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands roughly 20 centimeters to the top of his noggin, which makes him just about, let's say 7. I don't know why I said 5. 7 3/4 inches. That's pretty close. And from what I can tell, he's a little bit short and a little bit stocky. I don't know if you guys care about that. It depends on how much you care about scaling. But it's still a really cool sculpt. So, okay, question of the day. Are you a fan of all these kind of off-the-wall things that Todd's making figures of? Like, is this cool? I could see a lot of people liking it because it's stuff that they don't already have collectibles for. And then I could see other people not liking it because it's stuff that they don't know anything about. So let me know where you fall for that topic. Okay, so on to the aesthetic of this guy. First of all, it's obviously loaded with sculpt, and that's a very cool thing. It's got a nice matte finish. That's a pretty good thing. A couple things do there's everything that you see is good. Okay, you can see all the good stuff. I don't need to point out every little detail of sculpt and everything. Paints are clean enough for the chest. The face is okay. The eyes are kind of glowy. The torn clothes are clean enough, that's okay. Now here's the problem though. He has a black wash everywhere, except his forearms and hands really don't have it. So it looks kind of weird. I don't know if that's a universal thing. If you guys have that problem, let me know. If you don't, let me know. But his arms are very clean compared to the rest of his body, and it does throw off the look. Otherwise, it's pretty good. There's not too much symmetry going on here, if any, and I like it. It's a very nice sculpt. There's no wash back here either, or back here. Yeah, if they're gonna go this route, they need to put the wash everywhere, because like even here, we have a big white stripe. I mean, I know it's gray, but there's no wash on that shoulder piece, so it doesn't look good. So that is a problem. I will also point out that his articulating jaw, which we'll get to in the articulation section, is atrociously ugly. There is a tongue in there, which is also articulated, but his jaw is just a big cavity. So, let me see if I can show you that. That's not a good design. Maybe if I zoom in, that'll be more. Yeah, that's terrible. Cool idea to have an articulating jaw and tongue, not well implemented. But still, as long as you close his mouth, it's pretty aesthetically pleasing, and that's mostly pretty good. So I'll give it an 8 for the sculpt work, but the size and the lack of uniformity in the paint does knock it back a little bit. Now, as far as accessories go, there are none except for the card, which comes in the package, and the little black display stand. I don't really count those as accessories. Those are like cheap pack-ins to make it feel like you're getting more that doesn't really cost them anything. And that kind of bugs me, but if you like that stuff, then you get it. 0 out of 10. On to the articulation. Let's move that. On to the articulation. The head can look up a little bit, not too much, but probably enough. And going down, surprisingly limited. He's a little bit taller, and he can't look down, so that's kind of a bummer. It does lean side to side. The problem with this guy is he's got a double ball peg, and the balls are very tiny. You always want big balls, and you just don't have those. The peg is a decent size, but the balls are just too small, and I'm not going to say anything else about that. You can lean them a little bit. I mean, it'll be okay, but it's not good. And then again, for the jaw, the giant hinge with the tongue, cool idea. Hollow jaw does not work. Like, you can actually pull the tongue out through the bottom if you wanted to. So, not well implemented at all. Shoulders have a big ball peg going into the torso, and this is a floating piece, so you can move them around, but you really can't. So once again, it doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't really serve a purpose. I don't know why they keep bothering to do that. You do get your full rotation, of course. The hinge, a little bit stiff and the spikes get in the way, but you can pose the arms well enough. For somebody this big, it works just fine. It's a little stiff, but it'll be okay. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break. No bicep swivel, you just get that down here in the elbow, which is definitely gonna impede articulation, especially the way the bicep is sculpted. That's not a good design. You get about 90 degrees out of that, and that's fine, but you're gonna be very limited in what you can do because of this sculpt. Now for the wrist, they did it backwards. I call this out when Naked does it. I call it out when anybody does it. Wrists don't work that way. The hinge has to be on this end of the joint. They have the hinge here, so you can move the hand like that, and that one particular pose is acceptable. But okay, so you can't really tell because he's fat, but your wrists don't move this way. You need the hinge on the other side. This hand's probably a better example. You can't, it doesn't even work well enough for me to show you how bad it is. Anyway, the joint should be in the hand part, not in the arm part. If you leave his arm straight, you'll get the swivel out of it, and that's fine, but the hinge is mostly useless. Although he's fat enough that it doesn't matter. So this is not a good example for me to explain wrist articulation, so I guess never mind. Okay, diaphragm joint on this guy, still can't really go forward, but it's better than most of his figures. Lower part is really loose, decent range. Upper part rotates, side to side is decent. It's kind of a floppy mess, but it'll be okay. You'll be able to pose him well enough, so that's fine. The shorts are a soft piece, so let's see how the hips work. Oh wow, they're very loose. Decent side to side, decent splits. Going forward, very limited due to the trunks. So it's like, why even make them soft if they're not going to accomplish anything? At least put like a split in there. Yeah, very limited range. There is a thigh swivel though, so hey, for those of you that want that, you got it. Single jointed knee, not quite 90 degrees. Pretty well hidden by his things, so I guess that's okay. Technically it rotates down there, which you won't need to do ever because it doesn't make any sense. You do get decent range going back, very limited going forward due to his shin thingies. Ankle rocker is sufficient, and the toe hinge is humongous and poorly placed, and probably doesn't look good, and it probably doesn't work well enough. So yeah, nah, not great. Articulation on this guy's gonna get a 6 out of 10. Way too many problems, way too many limitations that just don't need to be there. So, final verdict on this guy, it's a strong enough release. If you care more about aesthetic than articulation, then you are going to be good to go mostly. The lack of wash does pull it back though, so I can't give this guy higher than a 7 out of 10. For everything that's good, there's something holding it back. The hollow jaw with the tongue hanging out, the lack of paint on the arms, the limited range, the sloppy joints. It's just too many problems for such a cool sculpt, so it's going to balance out to a 7. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down, and if you haven't subscribed, you might want to. I have new videos almost every single day, and thousands already on the channel, so make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.